early on in acting started really early for me as a kid. And so I was working professionally really young, which was great and good exposure, and went to different schools for it. I grew up in Baltimore. I went to the Baltimore School for the Arts. I went
Okay.
to Syracuse for undergrad, so I got my musical theater degree. And I go off to New York in this big bad world of Broadway and off Broadway and regional theater and traveling, and it was fantastic. And I got called by a friend of mine from home. And he said, like, kind of panicked and was like, I'm at the Marriott Marquis, which is right in the center of Times Square, the hotel. And he said, I have to give a speech, a presentation for my bank. I have no idea where to stand on the stage here. Can you please come down and help me? You're an actor, you know where to stand. And I was like, okay, great. So I
You're an
walked
actor, you
down.
know where to stand.
That's what it's come down to. So I haul my cookies, as I like to say, down to the Mary Marquis, and there's Michael in the middle of this like dark, cold ballroom at the Marriott Marquis, and he's like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? And I was like, okay, calm down. Let's find. Okay, here's the brightest part of the room. Stand there. Let's move when you go to this section. Let's start with the story. So essentially, I was coaching him and not really knowing what I was doing other than from sort of an aesthetic actor point of view of like, this
Yeah.
is what makes sense. This is what's going to engage your audience. And he said, okay, thanks. I feel better. That was after some therapy moments. And he said, can you go, if you go hang with the guys in the green room, which was just like a conference room, I will take you out to dinner after I'm done with my presentation. I'm an actor. I love food, and free dinner is, right up there with many other important things in my life, like
It's one
working
of the
out for
best perks of a
sanity, right?
set early on. I mean, that is
Right,
craft
exactly.
services, like the best thing.
Right, anything. So I'm like, okay, great. I'll go hang out with these guys, and I go in this room with these other six bankers, and they're all waiting for their turn to go do their speech at this conference that's happening. And they're all doing these insane things in the green room, getting ready to go on. Like, one guy had his pages and he's flipping through them really fast, and he's like sputtering it, like saying it out loud super fast, and kind of like frenetic all over the room. And then another guy was sitting at the table, like staring up at the ceiling, kind of moaning, like sort of like. And then, so, and yet that is not the most shocking thing that happened that day. What was most shocking was there was a guy standing in the corner throwing up into a trash can. And
That seems like the most reasonable thing to be doing before a big
right,
presentation,
right.
compared to the groaning guy laying back.
Yeah. So, and nobody in the room seemed concerned except for me. So I go over and I'm like, sir, and doing like the back rub, that back rub
Yeah.
thing you do for people. I'm like, sir, what are you okay? This guy's barfing in the trash can. And he turns around and he's like, yeah, no, don't, wipes his face, like with the back of his hand, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and said, no, don't worry. I do this before every presentation.
Oh my gosh,
And I'm
what
like,
are they presenting? Like, what is this?
what? I know, financial important things. And and all the other guys in the room are like, yeah, that's what he does before every presentation. And I couldn't get over it. So then I started asking them, I'm like, okay, so how did the other guys, I'm like, well, how did you get ready? How did you prepare your content? How did you practice? Which of course nobody practiced. And it blew my mind that they had no idea how really simple steps of like how to prepare when you have to talk out loud to other people. How do you practice that? How do you practice that efficiently? And that really was the first idea that said, oh, maybe actors have something helpful to tell business professionals. And so I went through many iterations of ideas to get to Ovation 9.5 years ago.